Marketing in 2026 feels different because it is different. What used to work even 2 or 3 years ago no longer delivers the same results. And a lot of businesses owners feel that shift without fully understanding why. Posting more content doesn't guarantee reach. Running ads doesn't automatically bring leads. Even brands with great products are struggling to grow. That's not because marketing is broken, it's because the rules are changed. The biggest shift is that people are more aware, more skeptical, and more selective than ever. Consumers have seen every tactic, every promise, and every life-changing offer. They don't respond to urgency the same way. They don't trust claims without proof, and they don't commit quickly unless they feel confident in the decision. Marketing in 2026 isn't about convincing people anymore. It's about guiding them. In this video, we're going to deep dive in what marketing actually looks like in 2026. Not trends, not hacks, not surface level advice. This is about how attention works now, how trust is built, and how businesses grow sustainably, and why the brands winning today are doing far less than you think, just far more intentionally. One of the biggest changes in marketing is the end of easy attention. There was a time when organic reach was generous, ads were cheap, and simply showing up online was enough to stand out. That era is over. Today, every platform is saturated, every niche is competitive, and attention is no longer something you can assume you'll get just because you exist. People scroll faster, ignore more, and decide quicker. That doesn't mean they're uninterested. It means they're overwhelmed. Marketing in 2026 requires an understanding that attention is borrowed, not owned. You don't get it permanently. You earn it. Moment by moment, interaction by interaction. If your message doesn't immediately feel relevant, people move on without a second thought. This is why generic marketing fails so quickly now. Vague messaging, broad offers, and unclear positioning blend in the background. Businesses that win attention in 2026 doesn't try to appeal to everyone. They speak directly, clearly, repeatedly to specific audience. Attention isn't about being louder anymore. It's about being more precise. Trust has always mattered in marketing, but in 2026, it's the deciding factor. People don't buy because they're impressed. They buy because they feel safe. Safe that the product works, safe that the business is legitimate, and safe that they won't regret the decision later. That sense of safety doesn't come from claims. It comes from consistency and proof. In the past, strong copywriting could push people over the edge. Today, it often does the opposite. Overly polished promises raises red flags. Consumers look for patterns instead. They notice how often you show up, how clearly you explain things, and whether your messaging stays consistent over time. Trust is built through repetition, not persuasion. This is why long-term marketing wins in 2026. Businesses that focus on education, transparency, and showing their process outperform those chasing quick conversions. Trust compounds. Every interaction adds or subtracts from it. Content marketing in 2026 isn't about posting more. It's about posting with purpose. The days of daily content just to stay visible are fading. What matters now is the relevance. Content has to meet people exactly where they are in their decision-making process. Otherwise, it just becomes noise. The most effective content today helps people understand something. It clarifies confusion. It answers questions before they're asked. It shows how something works instead of just saying that it works. When content educates, it positions the creator as a guide rather than a salesperson, and that shift right there is powerful. This is also why long-form content is making a strong comeback. Short form grabs attention, but long form builds trust. A single long video can do more credibility than dozens of short clips. In 2026, successful brands use short content to attract attention and long content to deepen relationships. Both matter, but they serve different purposes. Branding used to be about first impressions. In 2026, it's about being familiar. People don't buy from brands that look impressive. They buy from brands that feel familiar. Being familiar creates comfort, and comfort leads to action. This is why consistency matters more than creativity. A brand isn't built by constantly reinventing itself. It's about repeating the same message but in different ways until people recognize it instantly. The tone, the language, the values, they should feel cohesive across every platform. When someone sees your content, they shouldn't need to check the name to know it's you. Human brands outperform polished ones in 2026. People trust people, not perfection. Explaining your thinking, your process, and being transparent about what you do and don't do builds credibility faster than flawless visuals ever could. Branding today is less about aesthetics and more about emotional clarity. One of the biggest misconceptions in marketing is treating tactics as strategies. Running ads, posting content, sending emails, none of these work in isolation anymore. Marketing in 2026 only works when everything connects in a system. A system guides people from awareness to trust to action in a way that feels natural. When businesses struggle with marketing, it's rarely because one tactic failed. It's because the system is broken. Maybe content gets attention but doesn't lead anywhere. Maybe leads come in but no one follows up. Maybe people buy once and never hear from the brand again. Every break in the system leaks growth. The business winning in 2026 designed their marketing intentionally. They know where attention comes from, where it goes next, and how it's nurtured over time. Marketing becomes predictable when it's structured. AI plays a major role in marketing, but not in the way most people expect it. It didn't replace marketers, it replaced inefficiency. AI handles repetition, speed, and personalization at scale, allowing humans to focus on strategy, creativity, and decision making. The mistake businesses make is trying to get AI lead instead of support. AI works best when it enhances human intent, not replaces it. Automated message still needs thoughtful copy. AI-generated content still needs direction. Tools don't create strategy, they execute it faster. In 2026, the most effective marketers use AI to maintain consistency, improve response time, and personalize communication without losing the human element. Automation doesn't remove connection, it protects it by ensuring no opportunity is missed. The line between sales and marketing is almost gone. Marketing doesn't end when someone clicks or fills out a form. It continues through follow-ups, onboarding, and even customer retention. Every interaction shapes the business decision. Content now does much of the selling before a conversation ever happens. By the time someone reaches out, they're often already convinced or nearly there. That means poor communication after interest can undo great marketing before it turns into revenue. Follow-up is one of the most overlooked parts of marketing. Silence kills deals. Businesses that stay present, helpful, and consistent after initial interest outperform those that assume people will come back on their own. More platforms doesn't equal more growth. In fact, spreading too thin often weakens messaging and slows momentum. Focus beats reach every time. Another common mistake is copying competitors instead of understanding customers. What works for someone else won't automatically work for you. Marketing succeeds when it reflects your audience's language, not industry trends. Finally, Many businesses overcomplicate everything. They chase tools, funnels, and tactics without mastering the fundamentals. Clear messaging, constant presence, and trust building still matter more than anything else. Complexity rarely scales well. Winning businesses in 2026 aren't louder, they're more clear. People instantly understand who they help, what they offer, and why it matters. That clarity removes friction from every marketing interaction. They also think long-term instead of chasing short-term spikes. They build assets, content libraries, relationships, and systems that compound over time. Growth becomes more stable, less stressful, and more predictable. Most importantly, they respect their audience. They educate instead of pressure, they guide instead of convince, and marketing becomes a service, not an interruption. And that mindset shift changes everything. Marketing in 2026 isn't harder than before. It's more honest. It rewards clarity, consistency, and patience. It punishes shortcuts, exaggeration, and randomness. Businesses that adapt to reality don't just survive, they thrive. The future of marketing belongs to those who simplify, systemize, and show up with intention. Attention is earned, trust is built, and growth follows naturally when both are respected. If there's one takeaway, it's this: marketing works best when it stops trying to sell and starts trying to help. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you at the next video.